Hey everybody, this is the Beardy bringing you my next movie review, and today I'm going to be reviewing DC's new movie, Suicide Squad. It is the third installment in the DC Cinematic Universe, following Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, and it definitely feels like it follows after Batman v Superman. So if you haven't seen that yet, there's going to be some things, or if you don't know how that movie ends, there might be a moment or two where you see things that don't you might not get if you haven't been following what's been going on in the movie. So definitely check out Batman v Superman. I suggest the ultimate cut on video if you can. That actually tells a much better story than the theatrical cut that the Baldy and I did quite an extensive thrashing of on our first video. So I have better things to say about the ultimate cut, but that's a different review for another day. Suicide Squad, I'll start off I was not super excited about this movie because I'm not a fan of most of these characters. I don't, I'm not a villain guy. I like the heroes. And so seeing a movie all about the villains was not something I was super excited about. And I felt that the trailers were overusing some characters who I had a feeling were not going to be very prominent in the movie, and the Joker, and uh, really trying too hard to capture the vibe that Guardians of the Galaxy got with their musical cues. Um, I think even one of the songs is they use one of the same songs from Guardians that's in the Guardians soundtrack. So in the actual movie, but and that's my one of my biggest complaints about the movie is the use of music is very kind of iPod playlist. Okay, I like this song, and we're just gonna insert it into this point because we need a new musical cue. They did not edit the music in very well, I didn't think. They made a lot of fun choices with the music. A lot of them you've heard in the trailers, but I don't know. It just that just kind of detracted from the moments for me for a little bit. When some of those songs or different music could have been selected, I think, and been a little bit more effective, giving the vibe of the movie. It didn't feel like the music they were picking overall fit the characters very well. Uh, Whereas at least with Guardians, you had that through line. It was the tape that his mom had given him when he was a kid. So anyway, all that to say, was not going in with high expectations for this movie, but I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. I My big three things I was looking for this movie was: is it going to tell a complete story? Uh, how deep or not, but is it going to get me from point A to point B to point C? Um, am I going to laugh? And is there good action? And it, and are there no like major like kind of cringeworthy moments? And it hit all four of those points. It told a story. It didn't necessarily go A B C D. Kind of went A C D B D. um, just in the way that stuff didn't quite pay off the way I expected to, or the editing was a little wonky on progression. Um, so when they come back and they try to do different things, it just the editing and the time layout of the movie was a little awkward. But it did tell a story. It did not feel like there was any major things that I was left wondering when the movie ended. Unlike Batman v Superman, I was just kind of like, what? What was half of the point of those side stories they introduced? Anyway, which the Ultimate Cut explains for Batman v Superman. If you have not watched that yet, uh, it was funny. I laughed a good bit. It was, I mean, for a movie that's not a comedy, there was a lot of funny moments. Some of them were not quite, they weren't cringeworthy, but they were a little bit, okay, you're really letting Will Smith be Will Smith here, which is good, which is why they cast him. But it just, uh, overall, I enjoyed the moments that were funny. And pay attention to Killer Croc's expressions during like group moments. There's a lot to see on screen. There's a lot of characters, a lot of stuff going on. But if you can, try to look at what he does. They even through all the makeup and whatever CG enhancements they do to him, he's got some great facial expressions. Um, it's definitely action packed. There's a lot of action in this movie, and like I said, there's nothing that was really cringeworthy um, in the movie. It was thoroughly enjoyable for a movie about the bad guys and seeing how they work together. And at some points in the movie, it felt like they fought together better than some moments in the Avengers movies, especially Civil War, where everybody's fighting each other. But but yeah, so overall, I enjoyed it. Like I said, it's got some major editing flaws. I think the music selection and editing was a little awkward and rough. But overall, I liked it. I had a good time watching the movie. Um, and the performances were great. Everybody delivers at least quality performances. I don't think anybody really stood out as like beyond amazing. I was not really excited to see what Jared Leto did with the Joker, just visually. I was not interested in the design, but he actually lands a pretty good take on the Joker for a very modern audience. It's very different from the classical look and his approach, but there's a lot of familiarity in his behavior and things. It's the very kind of wild card, random, just kind of out there, crazy Joker, and I think he did it. He delivered a really good performance. Um, and like I said earlier, he is not in the movie as much as the trailers might lead you to believe. But he's definitely got more of a presence than I expected based off of the movie, the trailers and stuff. Uh, Margot Robbie did a great job as Harley Quinn. She was able to work in a lot more of the personality from the classic animated series that I was not expecting into her. Again, the look is very different from what we've seen for her before. Um, but she did. There was, even the voice and everything. It fit the character. She did a really good job with it. Like I said, Killer Croc has a lot of really great moments. Um, Diablo's another one to watch. He actually was a lot more interesting to me in the movie than I was expecting. Um, he was a really interesting character. Um, who else? I mean, there's a lot of like Katana was great. I mean, all the performances, everyone delivered a great performance. There's not an actor or actress in this movie that I was disappointed with what they delivered. They all kind of really either embraced the personalities of the character and made it their own and just ran with it. And I think for what I know of these characters, they did a really good job. And they worked well together and off of each other. It was a really interesting take on seeing, kind of what they are. They're the criminals. They're the villains who are kind of forced to work together. They're the patsies and the scapegoats for the government if something goes wrong, but they're also there to do this and that, things that other people can't do. And it delivered. It delivered what they said. Uh, the story itself was not that deep and involved. It's kind of, Amanda Waller's putting this team of villains together for a possible, bad Superman scenario. Uh, and of course, while she's trying to get this all approved and put together, that thing happens, and the team's kind of forced into action. So it's a very basic principle in the story premise, but they hit it, they deliver it, and they run with it. And like I said, some of the things kind of feel a little out of place the way they were edited, as far as story moments or um, kind of like with when I saw Snow White and the not Snow White and the Hunts, the Huntsman Winter's War earlier this year. There are some moments given away in the beginning of the movie that the characters knew, that they tried to make a big reveal later in the movie, but since the audience already knew it, it didn't have quite a payoff. There was a couple small things like that just didn't quite land with this, you know, pacing wise. But overall, good, I think. Um, it's not going to go down as one of my favorite comic book movies of all time, but I did enjoy it, and it was, I think seeing any of these characters, if they get to come back for sequels or standalone films, I think could be really interesting. I will say I did really like to see Jared Leto's Joker outside of. I mean, you obviously know there's a moment from the trailers where Batman's chasing her, on top of the purple Lamborghini or whatever, but seeing him as a character outside the confines of dealing with Batman, I thought was really cool. It was, again, like I said, I'm not a big villain fan, but seeing Joker interact with Harley, interact with other people outside of Batman chasing him down or any threat of Batman making an appearance. Oops, if that's a spoiler, I'm sorry. But yeah, it's fun, well edited. I think my camera is slipping here. um, I'm gonna adjust this a little bit. I apologize, it's a little shaky. But but yeah, I thought it was really well done. I had fun. I laughed. It was action packed. Great performances. There is a credit scene like midway through the credits. There's not one at the very end, so don't stick around if you are waiting for that. Do stick around to pay respect to the cast and crew who worked on the movie, though. I think that's important to watch those things. It's uh, just a good habit to have. Pay respect to the people who worked on the movie you just enjoyed. I'm sure if you know there was some way for them to know you were doing there, it's kind of my tipping the waiter or waitress kind of vibe for me, is to look at all the names that come through. And it's a good way to kind of just chat with anyone that you've gone to the movie with about what you thought and just kind of process the movie a little bit. But anyway, Suicide Squad in theaters now. It's a lot of fun. I'm sure diehard fans of characters may be upset about the portrayal, or maybe just really glad to see them on screen. So you go out, you be the judge. Let me know what you thought. Leave comments, and be classy. Come on, we're just here showing our opinions and trying to have a good time talking about comics and movies and whatever. So keep the comments classy. Feel free to express your opinions, but don't be a jerk about it. Um, that said, I think that's all I've got for this movie. Go check it out if you want. Uh, I know I'll be looking forward to watch it again someday down the road on Netflix or Blu-ray or something like that. So anyway, have a great day, good weekend, enjoy the movies. Let me know what you think. Peace out.